All right, everyone, super excited for our team huddle tonight. I feel like I have a lot that I want to say to you guys, but I also kind of want to keep this contained because I know we have another Zoom after this for Diamond and Above. So first and foremost, hi everyone. I wanted to just kind of go over with you guys a little bit about the trip that I got to go on to the Pentecost Ranch and just being surrounded by some other leaders who were there. You guys, it was a phenomenal experience. And I know that it can be so incredibly easy for you to count yourself out of being someone who can like earn a trip or earn a retreat or whatever the case may be. And I want to point out to you that there were so many people there that I had no idea who they were. Okay. And when I say that to you, I want you to understand like, when you think of our company, there are a few names that come to mind, right? Like when you think of leaders in this industry, you might think of like Jade Hooper or Ashley Mayfield or Alyssa Wilbur or, you know what, fill in the blank. They weren't there. Okay. They weren't people at this retreat, and you had to earn a spot to go there. And it just was so like eye-opening to me to think that we put these people on these celebrity pedestals, and maybe we should, because they have definitely earned their titles. They've definitely put in the work and they've done all of the things that are necessary for them to get to where they are today. But what like I noticed was people who were there were people who were the hungriest. They were people who were doing the things, the daily grind, the people who haven't lost sight of their goals or their vision. And they were people who like set the goal to be there. And so they did. One of the girls who was at the retreat was a diamond. She earned a spot on the retreat as a diamond. And so like for people who might be new, that's like the real heart of like where you want to go. Okay, but after you go diamond, there's still multiple promotions that you can make to get to the top rank of the company. And so I say that to you to encourage you to, like, when you see an announcement being made for some type of retreat that you can earn like corporate wide, you should set your goal to be there. Okay. And not count yourself out, because even if you don't necessarily earn a spot on that retreat, you're going to be pushing so freaking hard for the goal to get there that your businesses are going to flourish in the meantime. Okay. Does that make sense? Can I see some head nods? Does that make sense? Okay, cool. So just to like a couple of fun like recap things, we were able to meet up. I think there were 40 different people who earned the retreat, and then they also had guests. I was a guest on the retreat. And so it was just really fun to be able to collaborate that with them. We got to go out to dinner the first night that we were there. The second day we got to go to the ranch all day. We rode a big bus to get there. And something that I'm going to mention later tonight too. So my diamonds, if you like hear me repeating a little bit, it's okay. But they took us on this house tour, and Mark and Cindy, if you guys don't know like who they are, where they came from, they're from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay. They were teachers and coaches. They were just like average Joes who wanted to see something different happen with their lives. And they saw an opportunity here and they took it. Okay. They've only been in the industry for 20 years. Like, that's it. 20 years is not a very long time. Okay. And when they first got started, we don't hear a lot about like their struggles. We don't hear a lot about, they wanted to quit, or like it was so hard, or like we don't hear a lot of that from them, because that was never their goal. Like they never let quitting be something that was taking place in their minds. They always knew that they had a vision for something more and that they wanted to create like this whole new thing for all of these new people. And so they showed up for it day after day and got to where they were going. So when we went on this house tour, they took us to the original ranch. Okay. The original ranch they bought, it had 300 acres. and they were like, we are living the dream. We just bought 300 acres in Florida. It was all swampland. Okay. So like they bought swampland in Florida and they built this little like cottage, basically, like a little cabin. I should say it's a cabin. And it's super cute, but it's small. You guys, it's not very big. And that was their dream. Like they were living the dream. Okay. And then their vision expanded. And now the ranch is not a ranch. It's a freaking mansion. Okay. So I just want you to remember that you're going to set goals and you're going to hit those goals. And then you're going to have to recast vision for yourself because there's so many times where we tie with where we want to meet and then we fall off because it's like, oh, we got there and then what's next? Like we should always be having something else in front of us, casting vision so that we can continue moving ourselves forward. Also, like on the ranch, we got to do things like I am terrified of most animals. I just don't like that they have a mind of their own and I am not in control of it. So it freaks me out. But I fed longhorns, which was a big deal to me. And we got to ride horses and we got to do this swamp buggy thing. And really just like the heart and soul of all of it though, you guys, was not necessarily even being at the ranch, but just being surrounded by other people who were on fire for their businesses. And so, I really want to talk to you guys tonight about hopping off the hamster wheel. Okay. So we have a tendency to, and I'm just as guilty as this. I'm not like pointing fingers at anyone. I'm just saying this from like, this is what I see. This is what I see happening in my life. And this is what I see happening in our team. Okay. Like I cast vision at the beginning of this year. I told the people who were with me at the beginning of this year what I wanted to see happen with my business, what I felt like God was laying upon my heart to see happen with this business. And I had set up a timeline for my goals. Okay. I had a goal that by the 25th of this month, I would hit our triple diamond leadership rank. And can it still happen? Sure. Absolutely. Like I see a mountain and God sees a molehill, right? But at the end of the day, like I can only cast so much vision, right? Like I can only want this so much for you guys. Like there has to be a point in time where you guys pick it up and you say like, this vision, I can see myself there. Like Emily has cast it and maybe I didn't believe it in the beginning. Maybe I didn't believe that I could be that part, you know, like I could be that far along in that amount of time, but you have to pick it up and you have to want it for yourself. I have your guys's back. I will do whatever it takes to make your guys' goals happen. And I want you to know that from the depths of my heart, like triple diamond isn't for me. Okay. It's for all of you. Triple diamond is just me paving the way so that you guys know that you absolutely can do it too. And if you like, I know Em and Larissa have seen a triple diamond chart. It's a big deal. It's a lot of promotions on there. It means like Shantae, you are a diamond. It means Megan, you're an emerald. It means Cassie, you're a diamond. It means Miranda, you're a diamond. Tamara's a diamond. Hannah is an emerald. Taylor Rhodes is an emerald. Like it means promotions for everyone. It means people moving forward together. It means Larissa and Emily are doubles. Like it's a big deal. It's a big deal for everyone on this team, but I cannot be the only one that has that vision. I can't be the only one that dreams that dream for you guys. Okay? And is like I don't want to sound mean or insensitive, but the work that we do isn't hard. Right? Like sending out a text message is not difficult. It's not a difficult task. You can send out hundreds of messages if you choose to do so. Okay. If you choose to do so, the hard part isn't the work that we do. The hard part is your mentality. That's the hard part. And so you have to recognize when you are getting on the hamster wheel of self-doubt, You have to recognize when the thoughts that you are thinking are taking you down a path that's not getting you closer to your goals. Okay. And I'm guilty of this too. I looked at my chart and was like, oh my gosh, like there's no way this is going to happen. Like, I can't believe I've been saying this out loud for so long and I'm still so far away from this. Okay. It happens to all of us. We all have a second where it's like, "Ugh," like, your butt cheeks pucker and you're like, I don't know how this is going to, I don't know how this is going to go down. Right. Like that happens. Okay. Life gets hard. Like my evening was just like the most chaotic 2 hours of my life. Okay. But I have to decide if that chaos is going to determine whether or not I'm going to show up for my business. And I have to ask myself, is that chaos going to stop me from showing up for my family and for my goals? Is it going to stop me from showing up for my team? Okay. And if that doesn't matter to you, if you're like, man, I don't really have a team yet, I don't have people working yet, you matter. You matter. Showing up for you matters. Working on that mindset development matters. Working on things that you like, that negative self-doubt and those self-limiting beliefs, it's important to recognize them, but you are not confined by them. You choose what to meditate on. You choose what is going to help you or hurt you. And you have to remember that it is a choice. And yes, sometimes life freaking sucks. Okay. I'm not discrediting that. There are people that I'm looking at right now on the screen that your lives are really freaking hard right now. And I get that. And I honor your guys' journeys. But I promise you that if you don't show up for work, it's not going to make you feel better. If you don't do the mindset development, it's not going to make you feel better. What's going to make you feel better is accomplishing the things that you said you were going to do because that's what you're in control of, right? Like there's so many things in our lives that are happening that we have no control over. Absolutely no control over. And we are just like hoping and praying that God is going to swoop in and he's going to take care of the things that are going on in our lives. Okay. I get that. I understand that. But when you decide, I'm going after what I said I'm going to after. When you decide that, yes, my life is super crappy right now, my life is super hard right now, and you decide I'm showing up anyways. I'm going to send out the messages anyways. I'm going to get the host to post up anyways. You can be so freaking proud of yourself, especially because your life is hard. Especially because you didn't want to show up in the first place, but you did it anyways. That's a big deal. And I also wanted to touch base on the fact that you are going to have seasons in this business where you are either planting or you are harvesting. They are both incredibly important. You cannot reap a harvest in this industry without planting the seeds. And you can beat yourself up time and time and time again and say, well, I'm not getting enrollments and nobody wants to join my team and blah, blah, blah. Like you fill in the blank, but you have to ask yourself in those seasons where you didn't want to show up, did you still do the work? You have to ask yourselves that. There's so many days where I'm like, I just don't want to. I just don't want to deal with people today. I just don't want to don't want to do the things. You know what I mean? There are definitely days when that happens, but then I like sit down and I'm like, dang, Emily Bulow is worth fighting for. Tamara Rusk is worth fighting for. You know what I'm saying? I look at my chart and I think these girls, and I'm probably going to cry, but these girls are worth showing up for. And it makes my heart so sad when I see you guys counting yourselves out. When I hear people saying like, oh, like I have this and that going on and I can't hop on Zoom and I just like, I don't know, I can't respond to your messages. I'm like, I'm ready to go to war for you. Okay. That's where my heart is at. And I want you to know that we will do, and I know there are leaders on here who have the same heart. right? It's like the curse of the yellow. Like, we love you so freaking much, but you make us so frustrated at the same time. Okay. Show up, do the self-development. If you're like, man, I just can't talk to people today. If that's the thought in your head, you need to send out 10 messages then, right then, because you will convince yourself that I just don't need to do it. Today's just not the day for me. Okay. You'll convince yourself of whatever you want to convince yourself of. So start convincing yourself that my goals are worth it, that my team is worth it, that the next promotion is mine, that I'm signing a loyal customer, that I'm changing somebody's life. I mean, fill in the blank. Fill in the blank of whatever it is that is most important to you and show up for that. And if you have these moments of hesitation, like if you're like, man, I don't know if I should like message this girl, man, I don't know how they're going to respond, I don't know how they're going to take it, send the message immediately. Do it scared. Go 1, 2, 3, done. Send it. Close it out. Go cry in the corner. Do what you got to do, but send the message out. Okay. Like I said in the beginning, this job's not hard. Doing the things isn't hard, but you are telling yourself something that's stopping you from showing up. Knock it off. Show up. Put in the work. Get off the hamster wheel that tells you that you're not worth it. Get off the hamster wheel that tells you that you don't have time. Get off the hamster wheel that tells you that I'm too sick or my life is too chaotic, and start telling yourself that my life is chaotic. I need to show up for this. I don't feel good. If I start taking these products, if I start working on my body, heck, I might feel better. Start saying, if I send out these 10 messages, I'm going to get somebody to post for me. I'm going to find somebody who's going to link arms with me in this business, and they're going to show up and they're going to put in the work and they're going to do the things just like I'm doing the things. You have to speak what you want to see happen in your business into existence. You have to do it. Even if you, and here's the thing about it, you guys, you have this subconscious brain that you have to convince. Okay. You have to convince yourself that you and your goals are worth showing up for, because your subconscious brain will combat every single thought that you have. Every single thought that you have, you will combat it. So you have to convince it. And you do that by writing out your affirmations, by declaring what you want to see happen, by capturing negative thoughts and casting them to the side. Literally, that is death. Your thoughts and your tongue biblically has the power of life and death in it. There are some things in your life that need to die. There are some thoughts that you are speaking over your life that need to be cast into the fire. You need to burn that crap up, and you need to stop breathing life into that. And I'm sorry if it feels like I'm yelling at you, but it's so true. And I told you guys the last time that I talked to you that I love you enough to not let you stay stuck. I don't want you to stay stuck. I want you to grow. I want you to flourish. I want you to be like, I said I was going diamond, and by God, it's happening. I am making it happen. I said I was doing this. I'm making it happen. And every single time you show up for it, pat yourself on the back, because the work isn't hard, but it's hard showing up, and it's hard getting your mind right. It's hard working on yourself. It's hard connecting with your team. It's hard connecting with other people. It's hard when people are telling you no, but that's all mental. It's all mental. So work on your mind, do the self-development, plug into your sponsors, and become so self-aware of the things that you are telling yourself, so that you know that whatever thoughts you're thinking are either pointing you towards the goals that you want to achieve or taking you away from it. And you can sing praise and hallelujahs to the things that are taking you where you want to go, and you can literally choke the other ones out. And they don't have room anymore in your mind. Okay? this all making sense? Okay. I'm just going to read through the chat really quick. Oh, I was like, Alyssa Bowman's on, but that's you, Larissa. All right. So there's something to be said. Again, I'm gonna talk about events just real quick. Okay. There's something to be said about getting around the fire. Okay. And I know that it can be so scary to think about conference. Okay. I know that it's nerve-wracking. I know that you can come up with 1,000,001 reasons for not showing up for it. And the thing is that it's not going to hurt you if you don't go. Like if you decide not to go to conference, if you decide not to be present there, it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to make you less valuable. But if you do go, it can change your life. It really can change your life in all of the best ways. Because I know change can be scary, and I know new can be incredibly scary, and I know unfamiliar, that is scary. That's scary stuff. I get it. I totally understand that. But it kind of reminds me of like, when I want to go work out, I'm like, ugh, like I don't want to go work out. I like really just don't want Heather Robertson to kick my butt again today. Like that's the last thing I want to do. But then I work out and I'm like, yep, did it. Feel good. Great. Let's go. Like I feel better. My whole life, my day is just better. Okay. It's the same thing. You might be scared, but this conference, getting around other people who see vision, who aren't afraid to tell you what they're thinking and where they're going in this business, they can radically impact your life and give you a certain kind of fire inside of your soul that you can't get anywhere else. And so I want to encourage you to go. I know that there are some people on our team who have bought their conference tickets who are like, yep, I'm doing it. I'm diving in. I'm making the commitment. And here's another thing too, is when I first heard about conference, I was like, what? Like, you want me to do what? Like the introvert in me was like hiding in a blanket in the corner. Like nobody sees me. They're not asking me, like I'm not on Zoom. They're not talking to me. They're talking to you. I'm talking to you. You know what? Show up. If you can't, okay, so Megan says virtually, fantastic. That is fantastic. But if you can find a sideline sister to come over and watch it with you so you guys can collaborate while it's happening, that's going to make a big difference. Like you're in this business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. So any chance that you can get around other people in this industry, get around them. Okay, get around them. Cassie's doing it virtually too. Awesome. Awesome sauce. Okay, so the last thing that I want to touch on, and then we're going to hop off of here, is I actually was having a conversation with my oldest son the other day. And I feel like this is like applicable in any area of life. So we're going into story mode here. So Brooks is my 13-year-old. Okay. I had him when I was in high school, and he has this extreme passion for basketball. Like you ask him basketball facts, he can tell you all of the things. Like he usually has a basketball in his hand. Like he walks to school, he dribbles a basketball. Like you get the picture, right? Like he loves basketball. And I signed him up for a 3-on-3 tournament, and him and his team lost every game. And throughout the game, we kept saying, quit shooting threes. Quit shooting threes. You're tired. It's hot in the gym. Like you just don't have the strength to put up threes and get them in right now. Like you need to be doing feel good shots. Like you need to be going in for layups. You need to be taking guys one-on-one. And I asked him afterwards, I said, Grandpa and I kept saying to you, quit shooting threes, take them, drive. I said, how confident are you at shooting threes? And he was like, I said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? And he was like, well, maybe like a 4. And I was like, okay, how confident are you taking someone one-on-one? He was like, oh, I'm confident. And I said, so why don't you take them one-on-one? And he just like he couldn't comprehend the fact that like yes, threes were more points. It seemed like threes were the thing, but what he was great at was taking people to the hoop. And I just want to remind you that you have strengths. You have these incredible strengths that you should be pressing into. But you're like, but the 3-pointer, mom. And it's like, no, 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 no. Press into your strengths. You have strength and ability and talent within you that you should be pressing into and not worrying about like what you think is going to get you to a better place, but just doing the things that you know you're great at. Because those things are going to produce results for you. They're going to bring joy to your life because you're going to accomplish them. The other thing was at the end of the tournament, he kept saying to me, oh, so-and-so needs to work on this and so-and-so needs to work on that and blah, blah, blah. You know, like he was pointing fingers at everybody else. Like what 13-year-old boy doesn't, right? And I looked at him and I said, buddy, you have to take responsibility for you. For you. If your team doesn't show up, that doesn't mean you stop working. It doesn't mean you give up. It doesn't mean you don't give it all on the court. You do what you have to do because you are the leader of your squad. You are the leader of your pack. And if you want your tribe to thrive, you have to do what's necessary. I said, let me ask you this, buddy. Who do you think deserves playing time on the court? Is it the kid who points fingers at everybody else and blames everybody else for not showing up? Is it the kid who chooses Xbox over dribbling in the driveway? Is it the kid who eats junk food instead of choosing to drink water? Or is it the kid who wakes up early, puts in the work, is coachable, is willing to shift? I said, who do you think deserves the time on the floor? He was like, well, the kid who practices. It's the same thing here. You can't expect to reap rewards for not putting in the work. You can't expect to promote or be frustrated that you're not promoting when you're not willing to do the things necessary in order for you to promote. Does that make sense? Like you can't be mad that you're not enrolling loyal customers if you only talk to 2 people a day. Am I right? Yeah? Okay. Okay. So get out there and remember that you are worth fighting for and God has called you and he already has that phenomenal gift waiting for you. Like I seriously like envision God in heaven being like, I have what you want. Like I have what you want and I want to give it to you. But you have to be willing to put in the work to get it. Okay? I love you guys. I'm going to stop the recording and then if you guys have any questions, we can talk about it.